I'm Erin Schneider, the Cheap Chick, and welcome to the show that puts the fun in frugal living. You know what's fun? Our next tip. You know what else is fun? Having a nice, cool glass of white wine on a hot summer's evening. The problem is, after you have a glass or two or three of white wine, you're left with these white wine bottles, or red wine bottles if that's your thing. What are you going to do with them? Well, of course you can recycle them. And I am a big proponent of recycling. So if you have leftover glass or plastic or paper, tin cans, what have you, make sure all that stuff goes in the recycling bin. Or you can put those glass bottles to work around your home and use them for storage. Now, I'm not talking about storing things inside the bottle, although that is a great option. I'm talking about storing things around the bottle. And in particular, I'm talking about storing your wine bottles inside of your boots. If you're like me, you have 1 or 2 or 10 pairs of boots lying around the house. And that's the problem. They're laying around the house, flopping all over the place. And that's really bad for the leather. When they flop over like that, the leather gets wrinkled and crinkly, and it can crack over time. And that's not what you want for your nice leather boots. Another option, a better option, is to take your boot and store it with a clean, dry wine bottle inside of it. Now, the key words there are clean and dry. Obviously, you don't want this full of wine. First of all, that's an horrible waste of wine, and second of all, an open bottle of wine in your boot in a few months, it'll smell like that bottle of wine, and who wants to walk around town smelling like a wino? Not me. So you want it clean. You also want it dry, because if it's wet, it'll soak into the leather and it can damage it. So take your clean, dry wine bottle and you just slide it into the boot, and there you go. Your boot will stand upright, it won't wrinkle, and it'll be stored nicely until you're ready to wear them again next fall. Now, if your boots are like mine and they have zippers on them, you can, of course, zip the boot up around the wine bottle. You want to make sure you don't force it, though. If you force your boot around the bottle, it could stretch out the shaft of the boot. Now, if your boots are a little too tight, that might be a good option. However, I do possess the world's scrawniest shins, so I like my boots to stay unstretched out. So I only zip them up as far as they'll go comfortably. Otherwise, I just leave them as is. Now, the great thing is, the more wine you enjoy, the more boots you can store. So, drink more wine, responsibly, of course. Store more boots, shop responsibly, of course, and have a great summer. And next winter, when you pull out your winter boots, they'll look as great as the day that you bought them. That's our tip for the day, and tune in next time for more frugally goodness.